Here we go. Let's see if this works. Yo, okay. Is this better? I think it's because I was going from OBS to this. I don't know. So right now, okay, cool. Spam one in the chat if this is better. So I'm using the microphone on my webcam because I'm too lazy to use a real microphone. That's what I was trying to say. One, okay. Just got my 11 Bravo contract. Awesome. What if I sat like this and act like I'm using a real? Okay, so pretty much what's going on is I am resetting everything up and getting adjusted to make this a live stream platform. Now, I know you guys might think that just because I have a lot of subscribers, I know what I'm doing. I don't. Who's this? That's me. Ones. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, so eventually the goal is the quality decent? I feel like it looks good. The goal, I thought I have a real camera, so I feel like using that would be better, but I guess it doesn't make a difference, right? Yeah, it's good. Awesome. Yeah, so pretty much the audio isn't all right. I'll fix the audio eventually. Was notified, but I don't know who you are. It's all good, Cole. My name is Marcus. I go by T-SPLY. Once. Okay, cool. So the goal is for this channel just to sort of be like, I wouldn't say necessarily like gaming and stuff like that, but that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. So yeah, it all depends what you guys want. If you guys want like an informative channel, gaming, whatever. 74 Delta, what's poppin'? Why in here, Greece, all soldiers have to pass the nut kick test? I have no idea what this is. Yeah, if you guys have questions, you can ask me questions. Maybe I can inform you. And now I have my computer in front of me, so I can actually like do stuff. How you been? I've been great, Kyson. Just been working all day to try fixing everything. If you guys could see what's around me, you'd be like, what the heck? All this just to make some shorts? Do a backflip? I would try, but I don't have any room. I would actually try to do a backflip. I literally don't have any room. In the backs looks like GTA loading screens. Yeah, so that is myself, and that's my buddy Louie. And it's my best friend. He got me both of these as a gift, and he's actually the co-founder of one of the co-founders of T-SPLY. First question: how's life? Life is great right now. Hope you're doing well. Heinz macaroni, yeah. I found this at a random store, and I thought it was funny. It was one of the most disgusting things ever, and now I just kind of keep it in the background because it's funny. How tall am I? 5'9". Is it hard to get into the army? They say, you know, it's funny. They always tell you it's like only 1% of Americans, but I don't think it's that hard. Like if you have asthma, yeah. I think it's all subjective. I was in the 101st Airborne Reconnaissance, which is called 3rd Brigade. If who is when, where, then why, I can't. You guys, if it's questions like that, my brain's gonna explode. If you could, which branch would you change to? I would honestly, I'd really be into Space Force. And I know that's like a joking, trolling answer, but I'm actually kind of serious at the same time. What is that thing that shouldn't exist? Heinz macaroni and cheese should not exist. When does the officer start being considered knowledgeable in the Army? That's actually a really good question. So an officer pretty much has to prove himself to everybody. I've always had really good lieutenants. In fact, when I was a private, I taught my lieutenant how to use a machine gun. So I mean, they come in there not knowing anything. The best officers I ever worked with were the ones who lead from the front, and by lead from the front, I mean like they're just super humble. If they don't know something, they'll ask. Those are the best officers that I worked with. But all my officers, like one of them's in special forces, another one's like they're all doing really well. So I got really lucky. My dad was airborne. Awesome. I wanted to be airborne. Why did you start your channel? Well, I've always wanted to do YouTube. I actually blew up on TikTok, but TikTok is so lame. I've always wanted to do YouTube. I just didn't know a good time to start. And I don't want these to be like questions only about me. Like I'm trying to like help people, but I also want this channel to be entertaining. That's why I have T-SPLY 2.0. That's more of the educational videos. Do you have to be very fit to get into the Army? Yes, you do, but you can get away with being not in shape. Towards the end of my time in the Army, I was definitely not as in shape as when I started. I'm currently studying. If I miss your question, I'm sorry. These are popping up pretty fast. I'm currently studying aerospace engineer. Now I'm almost done with school, but don't believe I have competitive enough grades to enter OTS for Space Force. I don't know what those look like and how hard that is. I would still apply because a lot of people, even if they get the slot, they back out of it. I learned that in college, where like they'll be like, "Oh, you can't register," and then I'll get in the class because people drop out. My rank was a specialist, E4. Favorite video game? I was a Call of Duty fanboy, but I would say Gears of War. I don't know if you guys know what Gears of War is. It's an older game. Yeah, the military was worth it. Towards the end, I definitely hated it. That's another motivation why I started the channel. I don't like to be the guy who's like, this is the recruitment process. I try to like give really random detailed insight on things that like people could avoid. Okay. Should I be scared to join the military? I don't think you should be scared, but you should definitely be a little nervous. I don't think there's anything wrong with being nervous. I don't know where to look. Sorry, I have like really bad OCD. I don't know where I'm supposed to look. Do I look in the camera to talk to you? Do I look over there? I'm sorry, this is like really funny. You shouldn't be scared, but you should definitely be a little nervous. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, big fan. Do you have a favorite gun tuber? I like Donut Operator, Fat Electrician, Preston Stewart. Those are my favorite YouTubers. Do you think the military will allow beards? I think eventually they'll have to if people keep pressing on it. Like the Army gets so. If somebody from the outside world complains about the Army, the whole Army collapses. Like for some reason, outside influence really destroys the Army. So eventually, I think they'll end up doing it only because of outside influence. Do you regret going into the Army? No, I regret not going Special Forces and other small things. What can you not get for a waiver? I think here's the thing: getting in with asthma, the way that my recruiter friends told me, is like a blacklisted thing. Like getting in with asthma is nearly impossible, but there are kids who got waivers to get in with asthma. So it's all dependent on your doctor and the wording of things. But like if you walk in there with no arms, obviously you can't get a waiver for that. Hello, quick question. What was requirements to join an airborne unit like 101st? So 101st is an air assault unit. They only call it the 101st Airborne because it's the historic name. There are no requirements for the 101st, but that doesn't mean that you get your air assault wings. You got to go through air assault school, and I did that back in 2013. Shout out E4 Mafia. 82nd Airborne, same thing. There's no requirements to get into these units, but there are requirements to get your wings. Sorry, these are all popping up. Cheers, Jasper. Look at chat. I'm trying to look at. Okay, I'll look at the chat. Do you like chocolate donuts? Yeah. Favorite gun, 249 saw. Best MRE? It's this thing right here. Shredded beef barbecue. Come on now. Is it very dangerous to go to war, or is it mainly messing around? It's dangerous. Everything you do in the Army is dangerous. Did you use night vision? We only trained at night. All of our training. So everything you do daytime and you do nighttime training. Because how do I say this without giving away too much information? You have to sign off on things. Like the Army is kind of like college where you do tests to prove that you're doing what you're supposed to do. Otherwise, everyone would be training on whatever they wanted. So when you do daytime iterations, then you do nighttime iterations. And that's when like everything gets way more dangerous. Do you in real life and make frag move? I don't know what that is. Best MRE, shredded beef. Sorry, the same questions keep popping up. Did you see a 12 Bravo Go Ranger? Yeah, my best friend. This is so random. My best friend, who's doing really well now, we grew up from the age of 3, and he ended up in my sister unit. And he was one of the youngest combat engineers to be a ranger. So he was only a private and went to ranger school as a combat engineer. All of us wanted to go to combat. All of us wanted to go to ranger school, but because we were training for deployments and ISIS stuff like that was around when I was in, we couldn't go to ranger school just because we didn't have time. Opinion on the M4? Well, the issue with the M4 is that the 5.56 is becoming a little outdated. I think we can do a little better, customized around a little bit. I think it's a little too small. Will you ever give away MREs? I don't know if it's legal. I mean, I don't think anybody would want an MRE, to be honest with you. I don't know who would want it. If you want an MRE, hit me up. I'll hook you up. Thank you for the $10 donation. I like your videos because they remind me of when I was in. Thank you for serving. I was in from 2000, 2007 in a Chinook unit and did one tour OIF 0304. Wow. Damn, dude. Well, look, I literally make the videos to represent the OGs like you, and I hope I'm doing a good job. So I appreciate you, Wesley. And thank you so much for the donation. Thank you for serving. Everyone say thank you to Wesley. And another donation. Wow. $9 from the Mad Dog. Any advice on study for the Asvab? I already failed 2 times. Okay. Asvab. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I was not the most intelligent kid coming out of high school when it came to applicable things for the Asvab. So you've probably tried to look up things and Asvab for Dummies popped up. What you literally need to do is you need to contact your recruiters and you need to tell them, can you please give me some study material? They will hook you up because they need you to join the Army. They need the number. So they should hook you up with some material. Other than that, I don't know what you failed. I'm almost positive they tell you what sections to study on. And I don't know if you're failing the ASVAB, that just means it's most likely going to be your mathematics portion. I'm assuming you're struggling with, because that's like the #1 thing people struggle with. If it's that, I don't know how old you are. You might need to do like Algebra 101 studying. What's another one? I think mostly that. If you do like Algebra 101, I think that'll help you a lot. But for the most part, your recruiter should hook you up with study material and a little insider information on how to help you out the most. I hope that answered your question. Since you donated, I tried to give you a little more. If you have like a really, really big issue, DM me on my Instagram. I think it's linked to the account, and I'll try to help you out. The hardest part about being in the military, depending on your unit, anyone who's ever served in a combat unit like the 101st Airborne, 82nd, you're training 24/7 and you're never around for family on a deployment or not a deployment. I mean, trying to have a girlfriend is nearly impossible. Like, it sucks. Do you plan to shift your content from military base to different topics? Well, this account, yeah. So I'm hoping that the live streams will open up a little more content to like a little more gaming and stuff like that. The original purpose of this channel was to be more historical content, but that's why I started a second channel to do historical content. The second channel is called T-SPLY 2.0. Do you think CBD will be okay in the military? Yes. I think in the next 10 years. I think it actually is, isn't it? What's the hardest part about... Sorry, some of the same questions pop up. So I apologize if I'm missing questions. 1911 or Glock? Glock. 1911s are just too loud for me. Can soldiers use their own weapon? No, but the only time I've ever seen personal use of weapons, like, that kind of makes sense, is we were training at a private range, like just hanging out with my friends, and a bunch of 5th Group Special Forces guys showed up with their own actual military weapons. That's the only time I've ever seen that. In the Army, what is the max amount of customization? Okay, so my unit was super liberal. When I made a video talking about you can customize your weapons, a lot of people in the comments were like, this is total crap. Literally, I can get on a phone call right now. We were allowed to have our own foregrips. We could have our own magazines. We could have our own slings. I know my captain had his own sight. So it all depends on your unit. The issue is if everybody has all their own different stuff, if every single unit ever had different stuff, there would be one guy who could hit targets 2,000 meters away and another guy who doesn't even know what he's doing. So that's the issue if you have too much customization. It's not like Call of Duty. So standardization is really important when it comes to a combat squad and combat platoon, because you know what everybody can and can't do with their weapons platform. So that's why it's really important to actually have standardization. And your standardization will allow the leaders, the squad leaders, platoon leaders, to navigate the forces on where to go, if you want to get all nerdy about it. My favorite animal, I like bears. I've been meaning to ask, what is a sapper? Yeah, so, okay, here, we'll talk about this. I made a video about sapper school, if you guys want to check that out. So a sapper, the best way to say it is the equivalent of a ranger. So you have sapper school and ranger school. Sapper school is a 30-day school where combat engineers learn to do every single demolition type, how to implement special engineer things, and like it's just getting your most proficient skills at sapper school. And the reason why it's an equivalent to ranger school is because you're also learning how to shoot and maneuver, work with squads, work with other small teams. So that's why it's kind of applicable. It also has a very high dropout rate. So yeah. However, it gets confusing because a combat engineer can be called a sapper, but he's not sapper tabbed. Zelensky, yeah, what's up? Have you ever been shot? Almost. What do you think about the Battlefield series? I've always been a very big fan of Battlefield because they started bullet drop. Come on now. And yeah, trying to read these. Best branch to join the military for beginners. Best branch to join, if you want to be in a combat role, I would say Army. If you don't, I would say Navy or Air Force. Your future plans for your channels. I want T-SPLY 2.0 to be a documentary channel, like really high quality videos. I'm in film school right now for people who don't know. And I want this channel just to be like a shorts channel and a live stream channel. And then once in a while, I may post like vloggy type content. I'm bringing it back to 2012. But nah, this is like more of an informative and entertainment channel. I love your content and join the longer videos on 2.0. Yeah, thank you. 2.0 is like where I can actually express my creativity and love for military history. Most unique gun you've shot revolving. Probably an AR-10, where a guy legally had a grenade launcher under it. He had to get it like federally approved and stuff, but it shot flares. Why did you join? I just wanted to see what it was like. I mean, that's a really boring answer. OCP def. I like OCP, but I also like multicam. Battlefield 1 is my favorite. Yeah, there's also Battlefield Modern Combat. Yeah, I am the Ukrainian president. I actually went viral on TikTok for pretending to be the Ukrainian president. And then I was getting my buddies were telling me, you might want to be careful because anytime you want to travel around the world, like people might be coming after you. So I toned it down. Like I have videos of me riding my Razor scooter in full. I had the green combat top and parachute pants. Oh, I wish I had it over here. I want to dress up like Zelensky next time because I literally have the same exact Zelensky outfit. All of your videos are super cool and quality. Also, I don't know you actually had a channel you posted videos, not shorts. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. That's why I started the second channel, T-SPLY 2.0. I got to get another sign over here, T-SPLY 2.0. How long did you serve? Active 3.5 years, and I technically got out last year with the whole inactive reserve, whatever it's called. Hello, my name is Jack. What's up, Jack? I'm joining the United States Marine Corps and going to boot camp in September 6th. Any tips? Man, for the Marines, I hope you're really good at pull-ups. It's all about pull-ups with the Marines and just listening to your drill and instructors. Other than that, like Marine Corps, they just do their own thing. Like no matter what you're going to get yelled at, I wouldn't take it to heart. Damn, Dan, have you ever met someone famous? I guess so, yeah. In the Army, yeah, I've actually met like famous people in the Army. In real life, yes. Have you watched the Lab Bible stories about Craig Harrison of the Royal Marines? I have. What do you think of Squad? I don't know what you mean by that. Is West Point worth it? Some people will say yes, some people will say no. I heard West Point is worth it. If you're trying to, what's the word? If you're trying to do aviation, everyone who's told me if you're trying to be like a helicopter pilot, go to West Point because they get the first slot availability. And I think West Point officers get to choose where they go. But don't quote me on that. That's what I'm like remembering. Other than that, if you want to hate your life the whole time, don't go to West Point. The highest ranked person I've met, my uncle was a brigade command sergeant major. I mean, I've also talked to my colonel. We've had generals, dude. Okay, so we were the eye candy. We've had the Secretary of Defense on our missions. So it's like, I'm going to Pigeon Forge in a couple of days. Yeah, I live in Tennessee. Any tips for some fun there if you've been there? I've never been there, but I heard it's fun. Sorry. Coolest place I've been to a lot of countries in Europe. I can tell you the worst place I've been is Louisiana. Sorry if you're from Louisiana. I've been to Romania, though. I've been to Dracula's castle. I've been to a bunch of castles in Romania. Why is it so difficult to become a pilot in the military? Just super competitive. I mean, if you're over a certain height, you're already disqualified. Your hearing gets very damaged. It does. I have a hearing aid. What do you think of this PTSD? I don't know. Sorry. How do you feel about contributing to the mass murder? Sorry. Sorry for contributing. Can I block people from here? Who cares? You can stay. I don't even care. Do you miss being in the Army? I only miss my friends, but ironically, we all got out together. Like all the people I served with for the most part literally lived down the road from me. The funniest thing I experienced in the Army was watching a train crash while we were loading trucks on a train to go from Louisiana back up to Kentucky. And the guy who was backing up the train, he was sitting on the back of the train with the radio, and the radio wasn't working, and the whole thing just crashed. It was insane. I'm from Romania. Shout out Pavel. What's the height requirement in the Army? I'm 6'6". I think you're good to go. My 5'8" and below boys. Have you been to Oregon? I have not. Oregon. I call it Oregon because I'm from New York, but I haven't been to Oregon. Thanks for the advice. I don't know to get your name. You're welcome. Anyone with that PFP instantly doesn't have a valid opinion. Sorry. Is it true that discrimination / racism? Yeah, I would say yeah, for sure, because it exists everywhere. But it happens to everybody. I don't think it matters what color you are, whatever. But it happens to everybody. Any funny boot camp stories? Yeah, the funniest boot camp story that comes to mind was we were training. It was called FTX, the field training exercise. It was like the main one before you graduate, and our second platoon guys were throwing their candy wrappers away in the porta potty when they were told not to. And by the end of the field training exercise, the porta potties were literally level high with the amount of fecal matter in there. And then they had to pick out all the candy wrappers out of the porta potties by hand. I wasn't talking about you. Okay. Trying to read these. I have not been to Las Vegas. Have you ever broken your weapon? Many times. The bipods coming undone, especially with the saw. The saws are not that, what's the word? They are really more flimsy than you think they'd be. In my country, we have officer cadet entry. Do you have that? Yeah, for the most part. Like you got to have, what's the word? Certain grades. And you do have officer candidate school. And another donation of $5 from Wesley. What did you keep as a souvenir and not? I kept my Kevlar. I won on deployment and it covers. So do I have? If I was at my other place, I could show you my gear. I have a front. I also have a Kevlar. What else do I have? My dad has all my stuff. All my stuff is up in New York. I don't have most of my stuff. But that is awesome you have that, Wesley. Wesley, I hope a lot of my content is accurate and you could fact check me if I'm not saying things right. Because a lot of people were saying you can't keep certain gear, but that's simply not true. But I have a Kevlar and I have a couple other pieces of equipment. All my gloves that have holes in them from working with barbed wire, I have a lot of those. Any paranormal? Yes, a lot of paranormal. In Louisiana, you have a bunch of horses that roam around, and we like to call them the zombie horses. And I remember it was 3 a.m. We were sitting on an observation point, and out of nowhere, 5 horses just walked right past us out of nowhere. It was like the creepiest thing ever because we had infrared and we had night vision capability, and they somehow got right past it. It was wild. But I appreciate you so much, Wesley. Thank you for that. That really means a lot to donate because I would never expect people would care. Oh, if you really, I have this. I have my canteen, and I am not going to drink out of it. Would you go to Vegas? Yeah. Can you name 10 countries? I can. The best MOS for combat, I think infantry. For non-combat, I think a linguist. Is that the right word? Would you play Assassin's Creed? Yeah. Big fan of your channel, Pogue. Keep it up. I love you, Tyler. I am the best Pogue on YouTube. Anyway, keep your vest and helmet when you ever get out of the army. Yes. Have you ever broke a vehicle? No, but I have a buddy who drove a truck into a ditch on accident, and in between both the axles, he got a tree stuck in the truck. It was insane. And there's a picture rolling around here somewhere. What's your favorite food? Also, I hope I see you in Tennessee. If you come out to Nashville, you might see me. My favorite food is pasta because my mom is from Italy, and that's why I got a fat face from all the pasta. Have you ever broken any bones? Well, I have a fat cap here, so I got a concussion. I literally have like fat that protrudes here because I hit my head during a Humvee accident. I got a hearing aid. I have permanent foot damage, but I never broke anything. I came very close. I'm really lucky not to break anything. The best MOS 17 Charlie. Shout out. How to join the ISA. I don't know what the ISA is. What's your thoughts on the movie Full Metal Jacket? I think it's great. I think the basic training scenes are highly accurate. They actually wanted to tone down how crazy it was, but yeah. I'm going to join the military. Which branch? Combat, Army, non-combat, not Army. If you're 97, could you join the Army? At this point, I wouldn't be surprised, but no. The worst punishment I ever got, oh man, cooking for 5,000 soldiers was the worst punishment I ever got. My squad and myself got in trouble in Louisiana, and our punishment was working with the cooks to serve chow and get chow ready for, I think it was dinner and the next day, and that was terrible. I love the Predators. Do you also like the Titans? Yeah. My biggest regret in the Army, not going to Ranger School or going Special Forces. The best and worst part of basic. The worst part of basic is hanging out with people who have no business being in basic training. There are so many people in basic training who literally should not be there. Either they already hate the Army, they are not a team player, or they're just total scumbags. I'm just going to be honest. The best part of the Army are your friends. My opinions on McDonald's. McDonald's is better than Burger King. I mean, that's an easy one. Actually, I think Burger King burgers are better, but McDonald's has the best fries. Tighten up. What was your goal? Always to do film school? No. So when I was a little kid, I was always filming. I had an obsession with combat cameramen, people who filmed war. And I wanted to join the Army as a combat cameraman, but then I realized the job sucks. It's just like a social media manager at this point. When I was in the Army, I had videos go viral of showing us training and stuff like that. And then I got banned from filming. So I started the YouTube channel not because of that. I started the YouTube channel to make documentaries. My favorite pet, probably, if I could choose any pet, I'd want like a horse, I think. But yeah, okay. So again, the point of these mainstreams, the live streams, is to be able to live stream like myself gaming, or we can watch videos together, and hopefully to give you guys an opportunity to ask questions. When I make shorts videos, the amount of comments I get, it's impossible to react and to respond to all the comments. So I hope this can help you guys out a little bit. KP duty, that's right, KP duty. Why don't you make a Discord for the channel? So when I had TikTok, I made a Discord, and the Discord got 8,000 members in one day. I didn't know if that was good or bad. And the next day I woke up to thousands upon thousands of messages and comments asking me everything. Eventually I might do a Discord again, but I mean, it was like insane. I think it makes more sense to do like a Patreon for like 99 cents or $1 so that you guys could get higher quality content. Because if you guys do that, then it'll be a little more regulated and not like a bunch of hogwash content. Please don't spam stuff over and over. Yeah, I keep seeing the same comments. I apologize if I'm not answering your. Are 2-year contracts actually a thing? Yes, they are. I worked with a infantry guy who worked on a 2-year contract. Thanks for reading my questions. I got you, Ocean. I have not been shot. Almost. On multiple occasions. The funniest experience in the military, we drove out to a training site with a bunch of barbed wire and a bunch of... I have two. Number one, we were flying in a helicopter and we had to lock in arms because the pilot just took off and we had a bunch of demolition in the Black Hawk. At one point, he starts turning the thing and I thought all of our demolition, C4 and all of our stuff were going to fly out of the Black Hawk. And I have a home video of us about to get on the Black Hawk before it happened. Number two was driving in the back of a truck with all of us sitting. I'll see another funny question. Biggest oh crap moments. Before I answer that, we were driving in the back of a truck and we were sitting inside of barbed wire and C-wire strands. And then we got pulled over and told to go back, and our command sergeant major yelled at all of us for being too dangerous. And ever since then, we never had to sit with all of our equipment in the back of the truck again. The biggest oh crap moment was my last training event I have ever done. We were instructed to blow up an obstacle that was 100 meters away, and we only had 15 seconds once we did our detonation to run back and get into cover. That was my biggest oh crap moment. I was like, this is where we all don't make it. But we were okay. Favorite firearm? I'm a big Springfield XD guy. I also just like a Mossberg 500 shotgun. Hello from the UK. Shout out UK. Love you guys. My family lives in the UK. My favorite food in the Army? There's something called Santa Fe rice and beans. I think it's on this one. There's a side item out there called the Santa Fe rice and beans, and it's really good. I've almost gotten ran over, yes. We were sitting in an observation point, and somebody with a Humvee came over our... What's the word? They came up over our berm, and their tire kind of went over where we were sitting. Which is better, ketchup or mustard? It depends what you want to eat it with, but I would say ketchup most of the time. Has your family ever joined? All of my family's been in the military, but not in the United States. I'm a first-generation immigrant, so they served for other countries. SEAL Team 6 or Delta? Who's more elite? I would say SEAL Team 6 is better for like the Osama raid type things, like direct action. But I would say Delta for like trying to do super, super pinpoint operations, where it only requires like 3 guys. What do you recommend not saying at Meps? Okay, no matter what, if you are prior enlisted, if you're already enlisted, anybody who goes to Meps, you're going to get yelled at. So just deal with it. Anything you say, you're going to get yelled at. Have you ever eaten an MRE? If so, I've eaten a lot. Actually, our sister company, Alpha Company, somebody got medically retired from getting sick from eating MREs. He got like a bowel obstruction. It was really scary. Do Republican administrations really help military more? When you look at the data, a Republican administration, most of it was under Bush's reign, and then under Trump, you do see increases in soldier pay and like more benefits. That's true. If it wasn't for George Bush, everybody hates him, but he was giving out fat bonuses and checks. I was in during the Obama era, and I started with a 12-man squad and only ended with 3 to 5 because of all the injuries, and they were downsizing. So take that as you will. Do you find people wearing dog tags disrespectful to the military? No. In fact, any soldier who gets really like upset about people trying to rep the military, I think they're little cuckoo in the head. I don't think soldiers or veterans should get too upset unless that guy is really pretending to be like a Navy SEAL. That's just me, though. Hello from Georgia. We got another donation from Wesley. Wesley, you are really cool, dude. I really appreciate you. My best army moment: circle Statue of Liberty in a Chinook. Flew over Mount Rushmore in a Black Hawk. Had a Thanksgiving. Okay, shout out to the the Kuwaitis. First off, Wesley, I'm gonna tell you right now, I really do appreciate your donations. I never felt comfortable in a Chinook. Being in the 101st Airborne, we would oftentimes be in Blackhawks, but when we did go in Chinooks, never felt safe. I'm going to be posting a video of us flying in one at some point. Those things shake like crazy, and it just freaks me out that they have the dual rotors at top. It scares me. Thank you, Nick, for the donation. I appreciate you so much, man. You're a great representation of the military. Keep it up. I really appreciate you. Thank you. And again, all these videos are literally to represent the chaos and dumb things veterans had to go through, and I hope I can teach you guys and entertain you guys here and there. Thank you so much, Nick. I really appreciate you for that. That means a lot. And all the money is going directly back into the stream because obviously I don't know what I'm doing. We got to make this better. What's your opinion on the Humvee? I hate Humvees. I think they're terrible, but you appreciate them in the winter because they're a little more warm. But I can't stand. Every time people talk about Humvee, they have a distinct smell. They have a distinct sound. Can't stand them. How could you be a tank man? You got to sign up for it. In your opinion, what is the best division in the Army? I wouldn't say best division, but I'd say the 173rd Airborne is the best regular military unit. How was your 12 Bravo experience, and would it be a job? Would it be a job to recommend for any future soldiers? So I've heard right now, being a combat engineer, I'm just going to be transparent. Being a combat engineer right now is not the best thing. There's no deployments going on that are combat deployments. And typically, if you sign up as a combat engineer, 9 times out of 10, you were going to drive down the road looking for IEDs. I was very lucky to be in a unit who was not that. We were light sappers, so we worked with infantry. But when I got out, all of my soldiers deployed to the Mexican border to help set up obstacles and stuff like that. So being a combat engineer is not the greatest thing right now. I'm just going to be honest. But you get to blow stuff up, right? I actually have a video coming out on this channel in an hour about demolitions. How often do you play Team Fortress? I don't play too many video games, to be honest with you. Maybe doing live streams, I will have an excuse to play video games because it's for my job. But self-admittedly, I am addicted. I was addicted to playing video games, so I had to stop. Where can I find a military surplus? A lot of it's online, to be honest with you. My biggest goal is to work with a military surplus store so that I can provide you guys with the access to get like gloves, knee pads, not elbow pads because you don't need them. The algorithm really wants me to watch this stream. Well, I appreciate you, Harley. I don't know how YouTube works and the algorithm works. I have no idea, so. What do you do after basic training? Yeah, so there's this really weird period after basic training. That's a really good question. When you're done with basic training, if you're in the National Guard, and when you say done with basic training, I'm assuming you're done with like all the training. When you're in the National Guard, you just go home. When you're in active duty, you will already have had your orders. So we found out that a lot of us are going to go to whatever unit pretty early in. So from there, you would typically get a period of leave. So you'll get like a 1 to 2 week vacation, and in that time you have to report to whatever unit you're going to. So if you're going to basic training in Missouri and you have to be in Alaska, you got those 2 weeks to hang out with your family, but you got to go out to Alaska, and then you get paid for your travel and all that once you get there. How to entertain yourself at Air Alarm? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm sorry. I'm leaving. Love you. Love you too, Noah. Did you know Mr. Beast puts 100% of revenue back into the videos he posts? I believe that. I pretty much do that too. I probably put 99. No, I would say I put 95% of everything back into this. behind the scenes, what you guys don't see is on T-SPLY 2.0, the second channel, that's going to be like some hardcore stuff. I mean, we're talking like, we're going to get pro cams out there. We're going to, you'll see. Hold on. Wow, that is insane, Nick. We have a $50 donation from Nick. I would never even imagine a day that would happen. Nick says he doesn't need a shout out, but use this to grow your production, my friend. Your content, dude, Nick, that means the world to me. So the end goal and main goal is to put out like legit documentaries for the channel. So the money used from a live stream or the money used from a Patreon would allow to travel to where we want to go, travel to battle sites, and leverage that money to talk to some hardcore veterans and like really, I want to be a little more outside the box with the content. So yeah, I appreciate you so much, Nick. But I promise you guys behind the scenes, a lot of cool stuff coming up. But yeah, that blows my mind, Nick. It really does. How is your name spelled? I heard in one of your videos it's Marcus or it's Marcus. My name is Marcus. It's with a C. I'm not sure if it's the same here in Canada as it is in the US, but are you able to choose if you want to be a support machine? Yeah, Lord, that's a really good question. So you don't typically get to pick and choose what you want to do. Now, combat engineers have a very weird thing where in light infantry units you work in small teams. So we sort of got to pick and choose what we wanted to do only because we knew like I had a buddy named Bradley who was a terrible machine gunner, so we were not going to let him be the machine gunner. Somebody else would do it. But because you suck at being the machine gunner and you're not going to carry your weight, you're now going to be the radio man. And if he's going to be the radio man, I'm going to be the demo guy. So that's how we would kind of pick and choose, but that's just my experience. For the most part, no. For the most part, no. You are not going to be able to pick and choose. Now, when you get into Rangers and like Special Forces, yes. But combat engineers, we do have the luxury of being a little more lucky on what we want to pick and choose. Green Berets versus Army Ranger, not the same thing, but I think I'd rather be a green. I think I'd rather be a Green Beret. Army Rangers deploy a lot. I don't know if I'd be able to handle that after knowing being away from family so much, even not being in an elite unit like that was really hard. Have you or any of your friends been injured in combat? Yes, I have a lot of friends injured with combat. I have a buddy with like 3 Purple Hearts. He's going to be in a few videos on the other channel, T-SPLY 2.0. All of us got injured. The worst injury was actually not in combat. The worst injury was my butt. This guy, Louis, he got his butt blown up from, we were doing demolition training at night. It was a pretty hectic training event. And he accidentally didn't know he wrapped it around his leg. And while he was running back from breaching an obstacle, it blew up on him. And I was his replacement the next night. So it was a pretty scary time. My injuries are just from like weather related and stuff like that. What is the best advice for drill sergeants? Well, I was never a drill sergeant, but right now, I think the best advice is to be fair. And right now, a lot of drill sergeants are on TikTok. It's not a bad thing, but I think it actually could work against them sometimes. How realistic is it to want to become something like a Navy SEAL? Very realistic. I think you'd be surprised. Like when I went to air assault school, I was a brand new private and I was with like Ranger Tab, Sapper Tab. All these guys had all these deployments. Those were the guys who were doing the worst. So when you go to a school, the playing field is pretty level. Now, I will say, if you're trying to go, especially with Navy SEALs, the Navy doesn't have combat jobs. So when you go to Navy SEAL, it's who's the most physically fit and mentally fit. And the Army, it's a lot different. So when you go to Ranger School, Sapper School, Special Forces Selection, these are already the best of the best of the best. So you're competing with guys who might have a little more knowledge on like how to tie a special knot, how to pace yourself when rucking, having visualization skills. Navy SEAL, you don't really have to worry about that. My favorite color, I'm really boring. I love gray shirts. I wear the same shirts in all my videos. If you hadn't, maybe I got to use some of that money to buy another shirt. Because if you hadn't noticed, if you go through all my videos, I wear this shirt in probably 75% of my videos. I was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Opinion on Michael Ribas, a deranged 15-year-old looking guy who makes these funny robot videos. I have no idea. I'm sorry. Thoughts on the CIA? I think they're okay. I think they're a little more credible than the FBI. Do you believe the U.S. will be drawn into war? No, because I think if I remember correctly, and I was looking at some sources, it looks like the Ukrainians are going to go on a counteroffensive, and it doesn't look like we even need to be there. Remember, it's not even the USA; it's a lot of Europe is dealing with this. Are you trying to grow a beard or just too lazy to shave? Both. Why would I shave my beard when I've had to shave it for 3 years in a row? Trying to read all these like popping up. The red scar on my arm is just a birthmark. A lot of people think it's like a training accident, combat accident. No. And if I miss your question, I'm sorry. They're like, is Air Force good for a bum who's failing high school? Well, Air Force is really competitive, and I was a bum. I almost failed high school. I had a 1.7 GPA. But I'm going to be honest, probably not unless you're like low-key super smart and are going to do good on your Asvab. The best job in the Army, I've always wanted to do like X-ray tech. I've always wanted to see what it's like to be on the side of the Army where you don't have to do much, but yeah. Is that a rash on your arm? No. I was about to ask that. What's your favorite part of being in the military? The favorite part was pranking my friends, hanging out with my friends. My enlistment, I enlisted as nothing. I got promoted in basic training. 9 of us out of 200 got promoted. I think it was about 200. And then I ended as an E4 specialist. When do things go boom a lot? A lot, all the time. What are you tested with on the Asvab? The Asvab, if I remember correctly, is math, visualization skills, and like they'll be like, what is a wrench used for? But then they'll be like, what object does this unfold as? So it can be a little difficult. But some people do totally fine. So I know that like Algebra 101's on it. Have you ever felt like you might have died? Yes. Thoughts on the current recruiting numbers? I think that we are over exaggerating how bad it is, to be honest with you. Now, this is just my opinion. First off, we're not in a real war. If a war actually started, we have so many people. Like, I only got out last year. There are a ton of people who will have to come back. So they're like really making it a bigger deal than it is. I really think the military is only making it a big deal so that they get to keep their budget, because they're not going to get the same budget they have if they have lower numbers. T-SPLY, I need to leave the stream, but before I go, I want to tell you thank you for everything. Thank you so much, Don. Appreciate you. UH-60 pilot thoughts. I think they're hardcore. Do you know I could get there? Yeah. I've been doing well, Noah. My mother was a staff sergeant and my dad was a specialist, which I find funny. That is amazing, yeah. That means she was in charge of your daddy. Are there any combat roles in the Space Force? I have no idea. I really don't. I need to actually educate myself on the Space Force, to be honest with you. Video idea. The panic and lockdown caused on a base caused by... Yeah, Wesley, that is a great idea. That is in my notes, to be honest with you. I think that video idea is going to happen. So I appreciate you for that. Thank you. And for people who don't know, since you're here, if somebody loses a weapon on your base, it's over. Like, your day is over. Everyone has to stop what they're doing until somebody finds it. I've spent 7 hours in the woods with a minesweeper looking for a radio, so it sucks. What kind of person joins the Navy? Somebody who wants to travel the world. What type of combat environment do you think is the worst? Arctic. By far, Arctic. By far. I don't care who you are. Do you shoot 50 cals in base? No, you don't. We didn't. Maybe in infantry you do, but I didn't get to when I went to basic. I only shot the 240, AT4, 249 for like the big weapons. I love to see the recruiters for Space Force. Yes. Were you in the Army? Yes. What about steps the military takes to prevent extremists? I think it's dumb. I think for people who don't know, there's a weird policy going on where like they can watch your social media, which they already have, but then they can be subjective on what they deem to be an extremist. So it's kind of an odd thing. Singers, I've heard horror stories about that. Yeah. Do not lose your stuff. Are you in the Army? Not currently. Has someone in your unit been MIA? Yes, we've actually had somebody come back 8 years later out of nowhere because he got arrested. A lot of people don't realize if you leave the Army, they don't care because they know you have to come back. And when I say leave, I mean like run away. And they don't even care. Like this guy came back and they're like, okay, bye. You just don't get your benefits. So infantry, we shot 50. Okay, cool. My favorite G word. I don't know if we can say gun on here. I would say like if I had to, I like the Mossberg 500 because it's so simple, which is a shotgun. Have you ever been shot before? I have not. I haven't been hit, but I've almost been hit. Everybody almost gets hit when you train. Is National Guard different from the Army? You have National Guards for every branch, so it's the Army National Guard gets a really bad name, but during COVID, they got a lot of deployments in. They were bus drivers, but it can be either super lame or pretty hardcore if you're in the National Guard. Favorite pistol, Springfield XD. Is it true that the U.S. Air Force are princesses? I think that they're used to a certain standard. So the Air Force operates like a business, to be honest with you. They operate like the lowest level guy can talk to the highest level guy in case there's an issue. In the Army, not so much. If I have an issue and I like literally need to talk to somebody higher up, you got to go through like 5 people. So, but yeah, it is true that they do get paid more if they live on an Army base, which is crazy. Any tips for a new reservist in the Army? I'm in college and don't have any plans for ETS. If you're in college now, just get your education, lay low. Most likely, I do see something happening where reserves and National Guard might have to start deploying and doing the training rotations out in Europe more often, but I would just lay low, to be honest with you. I don't know what your job is, so it's hard to say like how busy you are. Is the Air National Guard a branch of the Air Force? It's its own thing. But they are our princesses. Does the Army allow for using old style? No. When I was in a very weird transition period. So I was in for the UCP, the multicam, and the OCP. And at that point, our formations just looked like literally somebody took paint and threw it at a canvas. So no, right now you have to wear OCP. But it all depends. If you're like in Alaska, you get to wear your Arctic stuff. We got to wear like literally not blue jeans, but like blue pants. Because when we went down to Louisiana, we were training as opposition force, Op 4. So we were pretending to be bad guys. Do you like anime? I've been yo, you know what's crazy? I've been watching like SpongeBob season 1 through 3. How long is Army basic training? Isn't it like 9 weeks, I think? I'm a generator technician. It's already low ground. Yeah, chill out. Have you rode in a Black Hawk or Chinook? Yeah, I have a lot. The first time I rode in a Black Hawk, it almost crashed. So I was a little afraid of helicopters at that point. But I don't think I'll ever get back on a helicopter unless I have to. How hard is Army Ranger training? Well, there's 2 different kinds. There's Army Ranger School. Then you have what's called Regiment, and they're both pretty difficult. Good skills for a combat engineer. Learn to be good at the outdoors. Learn all of your knots and learn how to make a tent out of nothing. What did you work as in the Army as a combat engineer? After you finish your military training, how was it being back to your house? I was like depressed for 6 months. After the Army, I might do a video about this, but nobody really cares. I worked in a private security force. I was doing like undercover work, which sucked. I wanted to go Secret Service, but I have a hearing aid, so I wasn't going to pass the physical test. So I was definitely depressed. I didn't know what I wanted to do for about 6 months, and after that, I was good to go. Marines are like vegans. You don't have to ask. They tell you. That is true. Marines always do be telling everybody that they're a Marine. Do you play Call of Duty? Not anymore. Maybe I will. This is supposed like I want this to be set up where like we can play video games together. That'd be hilarious. If I get you guys in on a stream to play games, that'd be so funny. Or to get all my old army friends on here, that'd be great. What's up, James? I see you all the times in the comments. Hey, T-SPLY 2.0. I'm gonna spell it out for you guys. Make sure you guys go to T-SPLY 2.0. That's my second channel. Fort Wainwright, shout out. Isn't that is rated as the worst place to be stationed, Cody? What made you happy after the army? That all my friends made it back from their deployment safely. Worst case of hazing you've seen? I'd rather not say because it's going to scare a lot of people, so I'm just not going to say. But it can get pretty bad. I was a combat engineer, Garrett. I'm sorry to hear that. Usually my arms say they couldn't sleep on the bed for a month. I can sleep anywhere. Yeah, COD Mobile. I got 5 more minutes on this. I was going to do a 1-hour stream for you guys so we could just hang out. You could ask your questions. So I got 5 more minutes on this. And then I actually need to make a real video for the second channel. Like this, that's why I got this all set up. Is ROTC horrible? My mom is trying to force it on me, but obviously starting about, okay, ROTC I think sucks because you got to wake up in the morning and you don't really get to be a college kid. But if you're going to go to like not West Point, I think you'll be okay. But it's funny that your mom is trying to get you to go to West Point. Or not West Point, ROTC. My mom was like, don't join the army. The best boots, I like Nikes and Oakleys. But Oakleys are a little expensive, so get Nikes. What's the stereotype for being in the army? The stereotype for being in the army, it's funny you say that. I was actually going to make a video about this. I think that infantry and combat jobs, everyone's dumb. And non-combat jobs don't deserve to be recognized. That's the biggest stereotype, I think. The Army's new fat camp, I think it's horrible. I don't think it should be within active service. I think it needs to be before. The job of the combat engineer, blow stuff up, fix things, and help raise the survivability of the unit. Did you go to a military college? No, I go to college now. It's definitely not a military college. 69 people watching. I think we're at 64. I don't know. This thing is like not up to date. I'm thankful I never faced any hazing, although I was hated at AIT. Had a bad attitude with my, yeah. So I'm getting raspy. If you were hated at AIT, who cares? You think if I'm in 15 Yankee for the Army, which short Apache weapons and tech repair, it would be possible to obtain warrant? No, anybody can go to warrant. That's the easiest thing to obtain. The hardest part about going to warrant is nowadays it's easier because there's no deployments going on and stuff like that. The hardest part about getting it is spending the time and having the scores to get to warrant. I was 11 Bravo and my DT score is 139. That's a high score, everybody. Do you own firearms? Yes, legally. 92 Chi cooks lead the way. Yeah, cooks have the hardest job. I did that for a day. Never doing that again. Which is ironic because I love cooking, but I hate being a cook. What's the worst a drill sergeant has ever treated you? I'm not going to incriminate him because I actually like him a lot. But the worst thing I've ever seen a drill sergeant do to his privates, he made them hand pick the garbage they threw away inside of a porta potty. So they had to like reach in there with like fecal matter. Hi from the UK. What was the most funny thing you remember from your service? What I just talked about. And a few other things that I can't say yet. I might make videos on them. Helicopters and more. Gotta go see it. Thanks, bro. Since you were a combat engineer, do you know how to defuse? And if so, I can't talk about that. Sorry. Can't talk about diffusing and stuff like that. What branch? I was in the Army. So I'm trying to read all these. Does the Army push hard training on troops? Yeah, so what you see on TikTok, whenever you see soldiers posting on TikTok, that's usually their downtime. I was in during Snapchat, and I have a ton of home videos coming out in 30 minutes. I'll have a YouTube short coming out of a home video of me blowing something up. TikTok, just the unfortunate part is soldiers are doing whatever it takes to get famous, and I think they are posting during times when they shouldn't be posting. So, but no, I think people are getting the misconception that TikTok is making soldiers more weak. It's not making soldiers more weak. It's making them more cringe. And some people might argue that makes you weak. Okay, I'm supposed to be done now. I'll give it like 2 more minutes. Ask your questions. I'll try to answer them. I got 2 more minutes with you guys. We're going into overtime. Ukraine, I don't know what's going on with Ukraine anymore. It's hard to get accurate data. Hey, bro, thank you for the shout out. Definitely, yeah, go to T-SPLY 2.0. Of course, James. Can I have a shout out? Yeah, you guys want me just to shout you out for two minutes? I'm trying to read these. Americans for Liberty, shout out. What are the rules for posting on TikTok? It's called OPSEC, Operational Security. You just cannot post anything that'll give away the security of your unit. Do you like fishing? Love it, but I am the worst fisherman ever. If you want a funny video, me fishing will be great. Can you sing that song that starts with your father, your mother? No, I can't. Last question. What's your thoughts on the U.S. withdrawal of Afghanistan? I have a video on it on T-SPLY 2.0. I think it was done horribly wrong. Trying to read these. Can I get a shout out? Everyone wants shout outs. Austin, Wing, Nick, Char. Guys, the screen is going crazy right now. Trying to. You're welcome for answering the question. Why does T-SPLY 2.0 channel exist? So T-SPLY 2.0 exists not for a money grab. It literally exists because YouTube is screwing all you guys over. I have posted longer videos that a ton of people have not seen. So I had to start a second channel so that people could see the videos. So because of that, that's why we have a second channel. Because you guys don't, if you found me from shorts, you only see my shorts videos. It's the stupidest thing ever. Have you ever gotten sick from the chow hall? Yes. Okay, it's been 2 minutes because I know what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to keep being like, I'll give it another 2 minutes. I'll give it another 2 minutes and we'll be here till midnight. So I'm going to go make sure I got a new video coming out on this channel in about 30 minutes. Make sure you guys go to T-SPLY 2.0. So, yeah, pogues suck. They do. Cody, being a pogue does suck, especially if you're a combat engineer. Okay, thank you for a donation, Cody. I appreciate you. But, all right, guys, I'll see you later. Thank you for being here. And I will be doing these way more often so you guys will get to ask questions, get to interact. And I'm sorry, Grant. Cody, you're funny. I love that kind of humor. So thank you, everybody. You guys are great. Cody speaks truth. Cody, I hate you. No, you're great. See you guys. I appreciate it. And thank you to all the donors. All that money goes straight back into the production. So thank you.